Check 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 2. Microphones are hot. Let's
Check
see if we
1
can
2.
find it.
Well, that's just a little bit closer.
Let's see
Better.
here.
Is that good? Okay.
Wonderful.
Oh, we're live. That's outstanding. All right, I'm going to like it, and I'm going to share it.
Yay. Okay, let's show this. Lock us all in here.
Right, we have one person watching, so there you
Is that
go.
me?
It's you, Tammy, and me, I guess. I don't know.
Let me go.
I shared it. Oh, it's up to 2 now. Here we go.
Better put my eyeballs on here so I can actually see what I'm doing.
Yeah. Did you read Miss Flamingo's biography?
I sure did.
Mrs. Flamingo to you.
No, it's Familo,
Emilio Flamingo.
right?
No.
Yeah, shout out to Devin there with Familo.
That's, yes.
He's watching.
Yeah.
Devin's watching.
Devin is watching. I'm going to call him Johnny Fever from now on.
Devin came down with a severe case of the snivels.
Is
as
that
I
what it
understand
is?
That's
he needs
what
some
it is.
snivel gear for that.
He does.
You get, I wonder,
Aw.
hey, Devin, do you have your poncho liner?
Oh, yeah. You said it correctly.
Well,
I was
that's
getting
what
ready to
he
go
calls
there.
it.
So.
Yeah. If you don't have a poncho liner, I can bring a whoopee to you later.
Nice.
So for those that don't know, we got in a big argument about poncho liners one day and whether it was called the whoopee or a poncho liner. It turns out after some pretty serious statistical analysis and polling that we did across the spectrum of all military branches is that the Marines call it a poncho liner, evidently, and Army dudes call it a whoopee. So
There you go.
Makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
there you go. It does makes perfect sense, right? That we would differ on these things. So, hey, if you're watching this by Facebook, how about sharing this with others? That would be great. We get the word out. We got a great show coming up. We got 3 minutes till we go live.
3 minutes.
3 minutes till we go live on WSIC. And we have our guest, Lisa Flamingo.
Familio.
Yeah. Or if you're going to say it another way, Lisa Familo. You can say it
There
like
you
that.
Go. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll answer to any.
I answer to anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
We love you, Devin.
Yeah, we do love Devin. He does have a fever-ish type thing going
Yes,
on. He said, "I'll come in. I don't know if you want to sit beside me when I've got a fever." I was like, "You're correct.
We do not.
You
Well,
can just stay far away."
He did not extend me the same consideration when we had our 5-hour drive back from Atlanta yesterday or Tuesday.
Was he sniffling and snorting?
He was.
Oh, wow. And so you're okay though.
At least for today.
I mean, seriously, are you okay?
I think so.
No, okay.
2 minutes.
All right, 2 minutes.
Devin's been on the couch with his poncho liner all day.
Is that what he said?
Oh.
Oh,
Poor baby.
he's snuggling up. He's snuggly.
My
Because we
Snuggie.
could, huh?
My Snuggie.
He's snuggy. Wasn't that a thing that was
It
sold?
was, yes.
Uh-huh.
It was like a giant blanket that had pockets. You could put your
A
hands in.
blanket with
Yeah.
pockets. Yeah. Awesome.
Christmas ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Christmas
our kids
in
have
July
them.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sold out at Christmas one year. Right? The first year they were so popular.
Hey,
The
Devin.
snuggly?
It's a
Snuggie.
Snuggie, not a snuggly.
Snuggly. Snuggly just sounds better though.
It may sound better, but that's not the name.
Okay. Snuggy.
Snuggie.
It was a fleece garment? Yeah. Did
It
you
was a
get one?
blanket.
Did
No,
you
I
want
didn't
one?
get- No,
Oh.
I didn't.
I missed the boat for Valentine's Day. I should have gotten you one
I
of
think
those.
I was good with the rose bush.
Yeah. All right. We got to figure out where to plant that thing. So
Okay, Devin, in true military fashion, if you hurt above the waist, ibuprofen and water.
that's right. Hurt below the waist, change your socks.
And use fresh foot powder.
That's right. That's right.
30 seconds.
Hey, would you tell Fresh Air Recruit story today?
I can.
Okay, awesome. I've been wanting to tell that on the air. We try to get you to call in.
Oh, boy.
He tried.
We'll do that during the break when we're
He
just
tried
on
to call
Facebook.
in. We
Okay.
couldn't get it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. God, we're down to 3 listeners. I mean, we sort of had an NPR feel going today.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
energy up. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We're all sleepy.
yeah. Pete Sweaty.
All right, mic's off. Here we go.
252 1886. And remember, if you want fresh, you must go local. Purple Heart Homes presents Putting the Pieces Back Together, a forum for veterans and the community to connect. Here are your hosts, veterans John Gallina and Brad Borders.
And Paul Cockrum, and Tammy Borders, and Lisa Flamingo. Yeah, but we've got it's just a whole studio full of people, and Toby Flamingo. It's pretty exciting. So, hey, welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together. We're glad you're here. This show is presented by Purple Heart Homes. You can find out more about what we do for veterans each and every day by going to our website at phhusa.org. And sitting to my right today is not John Gallina, who is off on another secret mission. What is that secret mission he's on?
Well,
He's busy.
I'm not privy to that.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. In his place is Paul Cockrum, our Chief Development Officer. Is that what you do? You develop things?
I
You're speechless.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I'm speechless. Okay.
I never my standard answer, and Toby asked me the question,
Right.
what do you do?
Whatever they tell me.
Whatever the boss says. My standard answer. That one's easy to answer.
Awesome. So, and we're missing Devin today. The devil dog is out sick with a fever, so he has gone through a name change, and his name is now Johnny Fever. So if you
I don't know. I like Mr. Sniffles.
Mr. Snivels. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. He's got a
Severe
little,
case of the sniffles.
I talked to him earlier this morning. He did not sound great. He did not sound like he was feeling awesome. He said he has been curled up on his couch with his poncho liner, however, comma. Yeah. So, well, I was going to tell you, I had before we jump into our guest today, I had a great time at Richard's Coffee Shop this morning down in Mooresville.
It's a fantastic place.
It is a
If you've never
fantastic
been there,
place.
everybody should go visit Richard's Coffee Shop. It's on Main Street in Mooresville, right
What's
beside
the
Wells Fargo.
big thing, the big draw at Richard's Coffee Shop? It's not just the coffee. What is it?
It's a living military museum.
Mhm.
You go in, and generally, the whole front part of the coffee shop area or the building is military museum, and there are displays set up
Yeah.
all the way through. Covers all eras of military. Awesome
Yeah.
uniforms, weapons, memorabilia, photos.
It's pretty excellent. I found out
It's
today
excellent.
they have a Norden bomb sight on display. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
So-
you just gave me the lesson. That's
So the
a,
Norden bomb sight
super
was
rare.
used in World War II. That was a top secret piece of equipment, and it was safeguarded to no ends. I mean, it was like the most secret thing that anybody was working on in the early days of World War II. And lo and behold, on display at Richard's Coffee Shop, in the they have these cubbies there that the tables have different names, right? And so Colonel Doug came down from North Iredale.
Oh, nice.
And Dustin Thompson, Duck, came down, and we all
Santa.
sat. Yep, Santa. And we all sat at the friendly table. And we asked, is there an unfriendly table? And they were like, yeah, the Liars Club.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a Liars table, there's a friendly table, there's an old geezer table. I mean, it's. And then I met a 100-year-old World War II veteran.
National treasure.
Marine,
Amazing.
no doubt. A Marine who has
For
served
sure a
in
national treasure.
Saipan. So, yeah, it was really interesting. I asked him to come be on the radio program. He was like, I'm too embarrassed to do anything like that. So,
Oh, maybe we can take the radio show to him.
yeah, who knows? Who
There you
knows?
go. We'll
We
set
get
him up
the-
with a Zoom link, and
Yeah, we get the mobile unit out.
there you go.
Yeah. All right. The EM50 Urban Assault Vehicle.
That's right.
Get that out.
Better
So-
known as the two-tone.
That's right. Better known as the two-tone. That's correct. So, we're really glad everybody's here. So last week we had Toby Familo, or Toby Flamingo, or Toby Familio, however you want to say it.
Devin.
Yeah, that's right. Toby was our guest last week. Toby served for multiple years in the Army as a helicopter pilot, and
Oh, wait now. Wait. You're Mustang, right? Enlisted, prior enlisted?
yeah, he was prior enlisted. Yeah,
Come on now.
and he became a warrant officer.
That's right. Best rank in the military. Warrant
That's
officer.
right. Hands in the pockets, not showing up for PT.
That's right.
Doing what you want to do when you want to do it.
That's right.
And then everybody calling you sir. Right. It's pretty awesome.
That's right.
And really accountable to no one. It's fantastic. It's a great
That's
job.
what
You
I
just have to
understand
fly your
about-
aircraft.
That's what I understand about warrant officer.
I know, that's right. So, but anyhow, so it was a really cool show. We talked about Toby's, how in the world he got into the military and his time in combat and transition. We talked a little bit about that, but also in the studio, who she didn't say anything last week, but she was here for moral support for her husband, was his wife Lisa. And so we just thought it'd be a really good idea to we had the veteran perspective last week, and this week we're going to talk about the spouse perspective. And I got my wife here too, so she can speak to that as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Lisa Familo, and we're really glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So I just want to start off with how did you meet this helicopter pilot? What's the story?
Yeah, we're high school sweethearts.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, we started
Very
dating at
cool.
16 and 17. I'm a year
kidding.
older than him, so
Did
yeah.
your
Very
dad?
cool.
Did your dad like him?
Yeah, what's not to like,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. All right. Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're high school sweethearts. We've been together since 16 and 17, got married at 19,
No
and
kidding.
just celebrated. Gosh, yesterday was our 30th Valentine's Day together.
Congratulations.
When's the anniversary, Toby? When is it? When's the anniversary? Okay. All right.
He
Good.
always gets that right. I'm the one that struggles with
Really?
that. Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Totally.
June 28th. So it'll be 30 years. In
Well, so it'll be 28 years in
28
June, but
years.
we've been together longer. So
Got it.
30 Valentine's days
Okay.
in total.
All right.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
You got big,
Congratulations.
yeah. No
you.
kidding. You
Isn't
got
that
big
crazy?
plans for your anniversary trip this year?
We're going to make some plans. For our 25th, we did a trip to the
Yep.
Dominican. So, yeah,
Okay.
something's in the works.
Nice. All right. So did you know when you were hanging out with him in high school and dating, going to the prom, and getting a cheeseburger on Friday nights? Did you have any clue that this dude was going to go? Yeah, I think I'm going to join the Army.
No, not especially. I think he was uncertain about his path. He wasn't sure what he wanted to do. But, it wasn't too far after he graduated that he was like, all right, this grocery store job isn't quite going to cut it.
Right.
And so he, followed in his family's footsteps. His
Yep.
dad was a Vietnam vet. His sister also served in the Army. And so he thought it was an opportunity to kind of learn and grow. So,
That was really cool.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when he did come, obviously he came home one day
He did come home one day.
and
Yeah.
say, "Okay, I think I'm gonna join the Army." Because I remember this conversation with my wife about that same thing. And what did that conversation? How did that go?
I was totally supportive of it.
Okay.
I think it's a great opportunity. Supported him in his journey, and at that point we didn't quite know that we were going to
course.
be getting married so soon or
Yeah.
so early, but absolutely was supportive of it. And when he did join, we shed some tears, and it was hard watching him drive away.
Yeah.
But
To go to basic training.
Yeah.
My poor guy.
I know.
So
He's
did
gonna
he-
get yelled at.
Did he come home and say, "I just came back from the recruiter's office,"
Yes.
or did he say, "I'm going to the recruiter's
No.
office"?
He said he came back from the recruiter's office.
Yeah, that's an important. That's
And
an
then we talked
important
about
piece.
what job,
is. That
what
is a
job
very-
he got.
Yeah,
MLS.
that's a very important
Yeah.
piece. I think ours went something like I went to the recruiter, and then they sent me something in the mail, and she found it before I did.
That is exactly what happened.
Is that that's okay? Yeah, and it was more like, what is this? Why are we getting
What are
this
you
in the
doing?
mail?
Right.
What are you doing to our family? Oh my gosh, So
But we had been married and I had 2 small children.
right,
And this was out of the blue.
it was
Oh.
sort of out of the blue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not really, but sort of. Yeah, it was,
It
out,
was
of
out
the
of
blue.
the
Okay, yeah, it was out of the blue. Hey, we got about 30 seconds to break, and you're listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, and we've got our friend Lisa and Toby here with us, and talking about what is the world's life like for a military spouse, and we'll get more into that here after the break. We're going to hear from the folks that keep us on the air, and we're so thankful for them. And so we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. You're listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes.
Putting the Pieces Back Together. We'll be back with more of John Gallina and Brad Borders after these messages from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right. Hey, so on the transcript in Facebook, it said, when I said putting the pieces back together, it transcribed it as putting the pizzas back together.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's subliminal messaging. Where are the pizzas? Okay, so we're in the break. We got 2 minutes for break, 3 minutes for break?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay,
3
so
minutes.
we're going to hear from Paul, the Marine. He's taking the Devil Dog's place today. He's got a story called Fresh Air Recruit.
Yeah.
So be it. Let it go.
Well, we've had some requests from this, and it's quite the thing. So at Paris Island in boot camp, the way you're organized in the barracks is you start alphabetically and you basically make a horseshoe down one side and up the other. So one side A, B, C, D, and then your counterpart across the way is X, Y, Z, right? So there was a guy down, 2 guys down from me. His last name was Collins. I'm sorry, Doherty. He was on the other side of Collins. Doherty was he was constantly breaking, bearing, and getting in trouble.
Right.
For those of you that don't know what breaking bearing is, that's laughing,
Not
looking
acting like a
around,
Marine.
not being head nods to the front with a
Right.
1,000-yard stare all the time, right? So there was this other recruit named Washington's across the way, and the drill instructor was doing his thing at night and up and down the barracks, telling us what scum we were and how we were going to pay and the punishment that we were going to endure and all the good things that we were to look forward to. And Washington, how do I say this?
We got 1 minute.
I'll have to finish this. So
Okay. Washington.
Washington flatulated,
Flatulated. Nice.
and Doherty, being the
Was it audible?
It was audible because the drill
Was it-
instructor was at the back hatch, at the rear hatch of the barracks, and here he comes, right?
Yeah.
And
Who did that?
And Doherty laughs, and so
Loses
there's,
bearing.
there's just nothing good comes from that, and so I will leave it that.
Let's put the pin in that.
Yeah,
So the flatulator was Washington,
Washington,
and Doherty lost his bearing.
as he did.
Okay.
Constantly.
All right. So that is we're gonna pick that up at the next break. We got 10 seconds before we go back live with Lisa.
IredaleHealth.org.
It's Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. I really like that music in the previous intro with all the horns and everything. It made us sound very World War II-ish for us coming on.
Two-ish.
Yeah, like some deep, long trumpets and trombones and things.
Yeah,
It was pretty fantastic. So, hey, we're really glad you're with us today. Happy Thursday to everyone. We are joined live in the studio with Lisa Familo. She is a Army spouse. How many years did you serve as an Army spouse? You're a veteran spouse now, but
Yes,
how
20
many?
plus, so 20 and a half.
20 and a half
Yeah.
years, so a couple of decades of your life. We were telling the story before the break about how he broke the news to you after he came back from the recruiter's office. So he did not front load that information.
Not especially.
Not especially. Okay. There was no degree of animosity about that
No.
because it was a team decision.
Yeah.
Once he got back. Okay.
Absolutely.
Got it. All right. So what was life like? So he heads off to basic training and he's gone. Obviously you knew, like, while he was gone, you were still at home
I was in school.
you were
Yeah.
in school
Yeah.
where?
At SUNY Oswego.
Okay, say that again.
SUNY Oswego. So we're both
Oswego.
from upstate New York.
Okay.
Oswego. Yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
a native name, I'm assuming.
It is, yes.
Okay. All right. So you were in New York and you and
He was
Toby
in South Carolina.
at Fort Relaxing at Jackson, right? In the winter, if I remember correctly, or in the cold, and it snowed, right? So you guys had no kids at the time.
Oh, goodness.
No,
No.
you weren't married at the time
No,
yet.
no.
This was pre-marriage.
Yeah.
So y'all survived basic training as a non-married
We did.
entity,
Yes.
and he came home. And how long did it take till you guys got married after basic training?
Oh, my gosh. See, I don't know these. I can't remember these things. My memory is terrible. I was going to say about 6 months. Yeah, that's about
Okay,
right.
6
Okay,
months.
good. He's helping me over there.
All right, 6 months.
Timelines are not my thing.
Yeah. And so was it at that time after you guys got married and then we're going active duty, right? And Fort Bragg, I'm assuming, you packed up from New York and moved to the Tar Heel State.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what was that like?
That was kind of crazy. Like we had nothing, we were 19 years old. We packed up a little tiny U-Haul, drove across the country. Our U-Haul broke down on the way in Pennsylvania.
Of course.
We tried to find a hotel, and it happened to be race weekend in the Poconos. And so we ended up staying in a pretty shady.
Yeah. Door on the outside kind of
yeah,
hotel.
Yeah, real shady. Had
Yeah.
to get another truck, unload our stuff from one truck, move it to the next truck. And then when we moved to Fort Bragg, we actually lived in Fayetteville, and we didn't know anything about the area, and we picked a terrible area.
Okay.
We ended up moving into a place that really was not very safe, and I think we only stayed there maybe a couple of months, and we were
Awesome.
out the door already.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
it was quite a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was that? So had you ever spent any time out of New York prior to
No.
that? No.
Mm-mm.
That
No.
that was home for you.
Oh, yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you're home in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
You didn't live on post.
We didn't live on post, no.
Okay.
In the South,
In the South.
In the South.
in a shady neighborhood.
In shady-
In a shady neighborhood.
My first job was
developing the
at
picture here.
Cracker Barrel, of all places.
Oh, no kidding.
You know, so I picked
How many
a-
stars did you get?
I did get up to 4 stars.
No
but yeah,
kidding.
Yeah.
Man.
But the best memory is, so early on as a new waitress, somebody asked me if we had collard greens, and I had no idea what a collard green
Right.
was, and so I
Oh,
pointed to my collar,
no.
and I was like, collard greens?
Yeah, like
And he
college.
said, "You're not from around here, are you?" I was like, "What gave that away?"
I'm not. Yeah.
Yep,
I've got
so,
4 stars.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
a delicacy
back up,
here.
mister.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how long were you at Fort Bragg?
The first time, 10 years.
Oh, you stayed there
Yeah.
10 years.
We did, yeah. He
Wow.
was in psychological operations, and
Yeah.
so that was the only base where they had
Didn't have to
active.
go anywhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
So we were there for 10 years, which was really cool.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
So
That is unusual in the military.
unusual.
Yeah.
Any branch.
when he put his warrant officer packet in to go fly things, did he tell you about that or come home from the recruiter's
Oh,
office?
no.
Right.
We talked about that one
Okay.
well in advance.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right.
So,
Just checking.
crazy story about how that all came to be. Do we have time for that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I was 7 months pregnant when we got orders moving us to Fort Riley, Kansas. Also had a toddler at that time. And he had just come home from a training, and during that time, I was working full time, pregnant, taking care of a toddler, trying to finish grad school. He leaves for another training. I pack up the house, sell the house. He comes home, and we drive across the country to Fort Riley, Kansas.
Wow.
Yeah. I give birth to our second child in Fort Riley, and he gets accepted to.
Not in the car.
Not in the car. No,
Okay,
no. We made
all
it to the hospital.
Okay.
He got accepted to flight school, so we lived in Kansas for literally 6 months. So we bought and sold another house, packed up I had a 4-month-old at that time, and drove to Alabama from Fort Riley, Kansas.
It's crazy.
So that was insane.
You go over to for folks that are on active duty, anybody that stays in, right? They stay in 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And you go to their garage and it's perpetually boxes, right? No one ever unpacks everything. They're just waiting. You're like, how long you been in? I was 12 years. I'm just waiting on retirement, right? I'm not going to
Or
unbox
orders.
anything. Yeah, or
Right,
orders, right? Because you don't want to have to.
Yep.
You don't want to have to redo all of that and unpack and repack. And
We still find colored tags. You know what I'm talking about? From each
yeah,
move.
for
Yeah,
sure,
for sure.
So then, flight school. Did you move to Fort Rucker
Yep,
too?
yep. So we had 2
'Cause you were
kids
there
at
a
that time.
while,
Yeah,
right?
2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, so flight
Yep.
school was a couple years because that's
Yep.
kind of important
Yeah.
to get your skills down. You can't just do becoming a pilot's not like an online course, right?
Portions. Yeah.
Well, you actually have to get in an aircraft and fly it up in the air and learn how to do it that
Yeah.
way.
I think for a helicopter too, I think you should probably be able to play the drums if you can fly a helicopter.
You think? Oh yeah,
At the
because you
same
got to do different things. You got to be able to move your feet and
Both
hands,
hands,
at the same
both feet,
time.
doing something different.
Yeah, I got it. So after Fort Rucker, then you guys go. Is that when you go back to Bragg?
Yep, we
At
went
that
back to
point,
Bragg.
back to the 82nd to the cab, right?
Yep.
And then that was kind of where, at that point, that was the last stop on the 20-year journey.
We thought.
Oh, you thought? Okay,
Yeah.
explain, please.
So we intended to really retire there. So
Mm-hmm.
we had bought a house. I had been with my job for the second time and was really hoping to be able to stay there and have him retire. And I think it was about maybe 2 years, maybe a little less before retirement, we got orders moving us to Fort Drum.
Oh,
So our final stop was Fort Drum. Yeah.
Back toward Oswego.
Yeah, back towards Oswego.
Yeah,
So,
so you were moving back home.
there were some mixed feelings about it, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I think having the opportunity to be back home and close to family was nice because we hadn't had that.
Yeah.
But Fort Drum was definitely very different, and it was a bit of an adjustment.
A little
for
colder.
us. Yeah,
A little bit
colder.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
So you
than
went-
Alabama.
So you went
and
from the
North
north
Carolina.
to the south, to the deep south,
Yep.
then back to the north.
And a short stint in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
short.
Yeah,
Right.
very short. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not atypical, right? I mean,
Right.
that's what when you choose the path. That's. In fact, I mean, those first 10 years were a abnormality. Actually,
Right.
Unless you're in some type of special operations, part of the world, you get to move a lot more than you guys did, and so Fort Drum was where you guys exited the Army. I remember Toby telling us about the last kind of flight of Kiowas coming out of there, right? Because that was the airframe he flew. And so the time frame and how all that came about, was that a mutual decision? Like it's time to get out, or were we dealing with some health issues that
No, that was really the airframe was being retired, and so
That
it
was
felt
it.
like the right time to
got it?
Yeah,
And you
retire
didn't
along
wanna-
with it.
Toby didn't want to go jump in a Chinook
or
and
an Apache.
an Apache.
Yeah,
or
I mean
go
they
learn how-
tried, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Got it. Okay,
more.
so all right, so you're out. What year is this? You're out.
2016.
Okay,
Look, I got it right.
2016. You're out,
Yes.
and then so we got about 3 minutes to break. I don't want to start on this. So how weird was the transition for you?
Yeah.
Right. But how weird was it for you watching it be weird for him?
Yeah. So, it was very different for us. For the first time in our lives, we had choices.
Yeah.
And it was hard, honestly, to know what choice to make.
Yeah.
So we really struggled with whether to stay in New York. I really missed my job in North Carolina. We lived in a cabin on 3 acres in the middle of the Adirondack Mountains after he retired, and it was a tough adjustment for us. And so he was working for the New York State Police at the time, flying helicopters, and he decided to take a position overseas as a government contractor. And so we made the decision to move back to North Carolina so that I could come back to my job.
Yeah.
And that was another crazy story. He was in Afghanistan at the time. I sold the house, packed the kids, 2 dogs, one of who was 200 pounds, and packed in 20 below temperatures and drove across the country by myself while he was in Afghanistan. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, he came home to a new house in a new city. Luckily, the wife and the kids were the same.
Yeah. So you.
Something stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though you were out in 2016, you weren't really out yet because of the contract work. And so that actually continued on until when? When did you guys move down here?
2018.
Okay.
But he was gone. He was in Afghanistan when the kids and
Yeah.
I moved. And so he finished that in, I think, February of 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that is crazy.
No, I got the dates wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere in there, 19, 18, 19, somewhere in there.
So you see, there's been in Iredell County for 5 years now.
Yes, 6
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Okay. And all right. So we got 1 minute to the break, and I appreciate that because kind of the weirdness of transition is something that we really like to talk about. It kind of helps. Folks that are listening kind of understand that it's not just the veteran that goes through all of this stuff. That family goes through it, and when we come back, we'll maybe talk about the kids and what does all that mean for them. And so, you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together with Lisa Familo on here. She's an Army spouse, and we're talking about her journey with her husband through 20 years of service, and then what does that look like on the back end, and how did they put the pieces back together. So we'll be back here in just a few minutes after some words from our awesome sponsors.
There's more Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders on the way from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, Mandy Timberlake was commenting on your Fresh Air Recruit story. So we're going to pick that up. Let's get a quick synopsis.
Yeah, so Washington had flatulated.
Yep.
Doherty had broken bearing, as he always did.
That's right.
He laughed. that's a cue for the drill instructor to go into attack mode, and they're good at that.
Yeah.
And here comes the drill instructor, and he gets both of them in the middle of the squad bay. You don't get to engage in unless you're in a classroom environment or something.
Right.
Stay out of the middle of the squad bay. Gets them out there.
To make the announcement, I've been Oswego, New York.
Oh, love
Oh.
it.
My
He's been
cousin
to
lives
Oswego,
there.
New York. See?
You been to the Speedway?
Yeah.
I live right next to the
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
literally.
where I grew
Could
up.
hear the races from his house. Yeah.
Saturday night.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
How are you,
Nice.
brother?
Small
Right,
world.
how you doing?
Great to see you.
I'm good to see you.
How's your show going in the evenings?
Soaring like a rocket.
That's right, man.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah.
Covering the news.
Trending upward, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not putting the pieces back together, but I'll get there someday.
Yeah, I don't know. Strive for greatness, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
am.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't set your sights on mediocrity like us.
Yeah, you have to get more than 20 listeners, right?
That's right. You have to get more than 20 listeners. You got to compete with the sheriff. Paul was
I'm
sharing.
out list, so I got 19 to go.
All right. Sounds good, man. Bless you, brother.
Happy birthday. I heard Oswego had a
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
All right. So we were listening to Paul tell us a story about the fresh air recruit. So you're in the squad bay.
Yeah, so Washington and
the
Doherty
flatulator, Doherty, the bearing breaker.
get in the middle of the squad bay. Washington, drill instructor makes him kind of bend over and grab his ankles. And, this isn't nice. We're in our skivvies, right?
Yeah.
And so the short of it is
skivvies is
your underwear.
Okay, all right,
you
just checking.
know. Yeah, so
it's getting a little weird.
yeah, so Washington's standing there, and there's more to the story, but Washington's standing there kind of in an L shape, and Doherty, the drill instructor, makes Doherty stick his nose in Washington's rear
Yeah.
and breathe in and run over to the portal, which is a window, naval terminology for a window, and blow it out,
Oh,
right?
he had to blow it out. He had to get
Right.
it out of the bay.
Breathe through your nose, blow it out with your mouth, and he did that for the next 30 minutes while Washington's standing there.
Oh,
and
my.
so then he became known as the fresh air recruit.
That's right. Wait a
And
minute,
then for-
Doherty or Washington?
And I'm sorry,
Which one became known as the fresh air recruit?
Doherty.
Doherty, yeah, the bearing breaker.
So anytime in the barracks, out in the field, on
Fresh
the
air
parade
recruit.
deck, anytime somebody would do that, because of course everybody started doing that on purpose.
Of
then.
course.
So wherever they were then, Doherty had to go. They had to go assume the position, and Doherty would run 10, 12 feet
Assume the
away
position.
and blow it out for
Oh,
the
my.
rest of boot camp.
Oh, I want to know, did Recruit Cockrum take part as a delivery mechanism of flatulence for Recruit
no, he
Doherty?
did not.
Okay.
He was
And
a
nor,
good boy.
nor did Recruit Cochran break bearing ever
Ever.
in boot camp.
Right. Because?
The consequences were severe.
Yeah, severe. That is fantastic.
That sounds
Fresh air recruit story, man.
that's
There's
good
your social
work.
media right there, man.
Oh,
That's
boy.
it. Fresh
That
air
is
recruit.
something.
There's some intricacies that went along with that, but that's the
I'm sure
thrust
there
of it.
were.
Sure.
But the gist of it, we all got.
Oh,
And we're
boy.
better now. We're better for having known that.
Oh,
I'm glad I finally
I'm
got
fulfilled.
to hear that.
I can go straight into the
I don't know what I
weekend
would have
now.
done.
Yeah.
oh, it's Tesla wrote a song. I guess games people play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
there you
right.
go.
That's
Should have
right.
been the drill instructor anthem.
Yeah, it should have been. Should have been. Well, that's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
All right, 1 minute till we go back. Hey, thanks for everybody tuning in, and we do wish the Devil Dog a speedy recovery on his sniffles.
Get over your sniffles, Devin.
Yeah, we could do like my friend Chewy was doing a Go Ruck event. He was cadre on a Go Ruck event, and my buddy Joe Baker was cold, and he was shivering. And Chewy walked up to him and said, "What's the matter with you?" He's like, "I'm cold." He said, "Stop being cold."
Yeah.
Stop being sick, Devin.
Just stop, Devin. Stop being sick. Johnny Fever.
Yeah. Talk yourself out of it.
Remember? Yeah, talk yourself out.
Yeah,
of
the
it.
body
works.
the body only knows what the mind tells it.
That's right. My football coach in high school, when we get sick, he'd go, "I'll go run a mile. You'll feel better."
That's right.
Yeah,
Get your body temperature up.
that's right.
Kill what's
yeah.
ailing you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Devin will be okay.
Awesome.
We're gonna miss him. George Campbell want to know if I had my retirement certificate yet. No, George, I do not. It's coming. It's coming soon, though.
Borders on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We are super glad you chose this time to spend with us. We've had an amazing show so far if you haven't been here, and you can go back and listen to that later. You can go on to Facebook, on the WSIC Facebook page, or YouTube. You can go either Purple Heart Homes or WSIC, and we're even live on X. Are we live on X right now? Wow, that's impressive. Maybe the president's watching us.
I think Elon Musk is actually commenting on.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
As we
awesome,
speak.
man. Well,
Yeah.
he's probably impaired. So,
Maybe.
yeah. How you doing,
Maybe.
Elon? Good to see you. So,
If you're listening, come on the show.
yeah, that's right. We could get Elon on.
We
the
would
show.
love to have you on the show.
We would.
I've seen you on the Joe Rogan Experience, and we would love to have you on the show.
We would. That would be an interesting show. We could get him in here in the studio.
I think it would be great.
That would be fantastic. Okay, let's just put that. Everybody hashtag Elon Musk on the show, right? Just get that started and put that on Twitter. That'll be fantastic. So, hey, we've got Lisa Familo in here. She's an Army spouse. She spent 20 years taking care of her husband while he was off doing great things for his country and
And the family, and the household.
Oh yeah, and probably got the
that
carpet
huge dog.
replaced. And I know when I got home from Iraq, there was a new heat and air conditioner, and there was new carpet, and the house was painted.
And a new landscape.
Yeah, and a new
Landscape,
landscape.
that's
And I was
exactly
like,
right.
what the
Thank you,
heck?
Paul Carter.
What happened to my house? And, yeah, so
Better take Joe Keller.
yeah, Joe Keller, absolutely, Joe Keller. I had him a thing made over there. Did you see the thing that I had him made?
I did. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was like a small quilt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy. So, but anyhow, we've been talking to Lisa about what it's like to be a military spouse, and we started talking a little bit about transition. You guys have how many kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. Tell me their ages.
So Austin's 21 and Ashlyn is 17.
Where's the 21-year-old now?
So he's still at home. He just got a job working for Penske Racing.
No kidding.
So yeah,
Very
he's pretty
cool.
excited to start his new career.
That's fantastic.
What is he doing at Penske?
He'll be driving trucks, driving their.
Oh, he's driving.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be
Oh.
driving the Indy cars.
Oh, like the
across the
CDL.
country. Yeah.
Oh man, Tammy's dad did that for
Yeah.
30 plus years. Yeah.
Yep.
He loved that job.
Cool.
That is
Yeah, he's
great.
excited.
Good for him.
We're excited for him.
So,
He'll
yeah,
get to see a lot of territory.
Yeah.
yeah, he will. He will. For the Indy cars, no
Yeah,
doubt.
Indy cars. I think. I hope I'm saying the right
Interesting.
one. I'm looking at my husband for confirmation again.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm not
Toby's
getting
over there
anything
going,
right now.
I don't know. I just know
You're
he's
on your own
driving.
on this one.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Very cool.
Well, good for him. That's a great job. He'll really enjoy that. It'll be busy for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
He will not have idle hands.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good for a 21-year-old.
Yeah. So while we're on the kids, so what was transition like for them? Because they had kind of
Yeah.
they grew up kind of in the military world.
Oh,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
on bases, and how did that work? And was that
Yeah.
weird for them?
I think it was the hardest on the kids, honestly. Just thinking back to some of the goodbyes and how hard they were.
Yeah.
I was just reading something. My sister sent me some old emails that she had come across like 2 nights ago. And in the email, I was kind of sharing updates with the family, and I was talking about the kids. And I was saying that Austin at the time, I think he was probably 6 maybe, and that he had taken it really hard. Was holding him in the recliner for about 4 hours while he was just sobbing. And our daughter, Ashlyn, was almost 3 at the time, and she kept asking if I was sad, and then kept saying, I sad, but no big cry. Like she didn't quite understand what these
Right.
big emotions were.
Yeah.
And, I think the other part that was hard is that when you talk about deployment, it's so abstract. Like the kids don't know where Afghanistan is. So we tried to do things like make little bulletin boards that would have a map of Afghanistan, or we would use globes and we'd put pins and try to give them a visual of where daddy was. We tried to, keep routines and rituals. There was one year Toby read books and recorded them for Christmas
Yeah,
and
we
sent
did that.
recorded books
Yeah.
home, right?
Did.
But yeah, the transitions were really tough on them, especially the ages in which we moved. So Austin was in middle school when we moved.
Brutal.
When we made our final move back to North Carolina, he was a junior in high school, and
Yeah.
we left the middle of his junior year in high school.
Oh yeah, that was tough.
And we came from a high school that the entire high school was smaller than his class here in North Carolina. So kind of got lost and, felt like he got lost in the shuffle. It was a big, big transition. But we tried to have routines. We tried to stay positive. We started something that we called One Good Thing, and it was a way to try to get the kids to find something positive. Because after he left, there was a lot of feeling sorry for ourselves, and kind of having pity parties. And they would come home from school, and I'd ask them about their days, and they would just be like, there was nothing good about today. And so we started doing something every night around the dinner table, and I'd ask the kids to share one good thing. I'd say, no matter how bad your day was, there's always one good thing.
Yeah.
It might have just been you had a great lunch today. The pizza was awesome at school. It might have been, somebody was nice to you today. It just always there's one good thing that you can find. And so we tried to shift the lens from the heavy, the negative, the sad to what we could find that was positive. And we kept that tradition forever. Like to this day, Ash is 17, and if we still, we don't get to eat around the table together as much as we used to, but she'll still bring it up, say one good thing about today.
Yeah.
And so we all kind of go around and
very
share.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very great.
Did y'all do when I was gone, did y'all do the jelly beans and the number of days that I was going to be gone?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if I was going to be gone like 300 days,
Right.
they would put 300 jelly
Yep.
beans.
Yeah.
I did hear stories. Another family had done that, and the mom got home and all the jelly beans were gone.
Yeah.
Right, because
Somebody ate 'em all.
Yeah, well, he thought that if he ate them all, then his
Oh,
daddy
Dad
would
would
come
Come
home.
home.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, does that not just break
Yeah.
your heart?
Yeah, so
I hadn't considered that one.
he ate all of them. Right, thinking if I
no.
eat them all, Dad
He'll
will
come home.
he'll be home tomorrow. Yeah, it's just brutal.
Yeah. We did that with Hershey Kisses. So they
Oh,
probably
yeah.
would have had a sick stomach if they ate all the
Right.
Hershey
Oh
Kisses.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and there'd be a lot of tinfoil.
Yeah,
in
right.
there, too.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. So, you guys are in North Carolina, been here for 6 years now. Tell us what we talked a little bit about Toby's transition last week. But what have been some of the challenges you guys face as a couple, and
Yeah.
there's been some physical challenges too, right?
Yeah. So, I think it's funny, last week I learned some things that I didn't know about. And, that was part of the thing that we've been working on is we both tried to protect each other when we were separated. And so, I felt like my job was to take care of things at home so that he didn't have to worry. He could do his job. He would be involved in things overseas that he wouldn't share with me because he didn't want me and the kids to worry.
Sure.
And so, there's periods of time where we feel like we don't really know what happened to each other or what we were doing. And it's weird to have been together for 30 years now and have these gaps of time where we don't really know what the other was experiencing. And so it's interesting to still kind of learn about these different things.
That is so true. So I read a study on folk, married couples, been married for years and years, and then one of the couples passes away, right? And so you'll hear people say after they've lost a spouse, they'll say, it feels like a part of me died,
Yeah.
right? But that's literally true because if you think about it, right? Toby has memories, and you have memories that you're both connected to, right? And his perspective on those memories is unique, right? And then also too the gaps in memories. Like so, we have gaps in memories. Like my kids will go, "Oh yeah, that was the Christmas that we did Zoom." And that was the worst Christmas ever.
Yeah, right.
The Zoom Christmas. And there's a picture. There's a picture. And then my kids will even go, they'll tell a story. And they'll go, "Oh yeah, but you weren't here for that." Right? Because I was literally gone for forever, right? It was forever. It just felt like so long. And we miss so much. I think that's a really important thing for those that maybe didn't serve or don't have family members that served, that these gaps and the memories, sometimes they don't overlap at all, and we have parts of our lives that we did without our spouse that are just different, right? It's just we have different memories, and we have to kind of, it might take the rest of our lives to piece all of that
together.
back together, hence the shameless plug for the radio program. So,
Yeah. Well, that's when people ask me to describe what the radio show's about, I'll say, well, it's almost literal.
yeah, it is
Right.
almost
Right.
literal.
Right.
Yeah. So, hey, we're coming to another break here, and it's been a really great show, man. I'm just so glad that Lisa and Toby are here. And we're going to hear from some of our sponsors. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Thanks for listening.
We'll be back with more of Putting the Pieces Back Together with your hosts, John Gallina and Brad Borders, after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Cool. All right.
So I have some questions for you,
Yeah.
and maybe this can be back on air, but it can be now. But you must have some exceptional time management skills, right? Running the household,
Yeah.
taking care of the kids, your academic accomplishments, working the job. What does that look like? How do you get there? I need to know.
I was frazzled. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I didn't have it all together. I could pretend that I did, but I didn't. I mean, it was tough. I was stressed. I didn't always have a family support system. There was periods where I would break down and just feel like I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. But then there's the part of me that would just kind of steel myself and say, you don't have a choice. This is our life. This is what we chose. This is our responsibility. And suck it up and do it.
Yeah,
There
suck
you
it up
go.
and do it.
It,
Yeah.
it always comes down to that, right?
I like what
no
she
matter
said.
what.
I'm going to steel myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think there's some element of those that when you serve, you got to do that, right? Because there are days where you're like, oh, this sucks. This is, but I got no other choice. This is my job, and this is what I signed up to do. And I think my wife had to do the same thing, and then also too, you have to kind of learn to rely on people that maybe you wouldn't have relied on before, and I don't know, maybe you can speak to that.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, there were a lot of things that I couldn't do by myself, and I was like, I had a whole group of people that I knew if I needed anything, they could come and help me, and it was very hard to say I need this help, but I had to say I need this help.
Yeah.
And they were all there to do, to help me with what I needed. So, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I had the complete opposite experience. It was just I was gone. I had no responsibilities, zero.
Yeah.
The
Right.
extent of my conversation was with my parents is, "We'll see you when you come home. We'll leave." And that was the end of that.
Yeah. I get it. All right. Last segment here, y'all.
Putting the Pieces Back Together continues now. Here are your hosts, John Gallina and Brad Borders, on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. This is our final segment of the day. We're really glad you're here. Glad you're listening, and glad you're tuning in. We've had a great show with Lisa Familo, Army spouse for over 20 years, and now residents here in Iredell County. And we've been talking about, man, what is it like to be a military spouse, and what's it like to raise a couple of kids while your husband's off flying helicopters in Afghanistan, and what does transition look like? And Lisa, I'd love to know. Let's talk about you for a minute. Tell our listeners what in the world, what do you do here in the county, and because it's a pretty important gig you've got.
Yeah, I love what I do. So I work for the Iredell County Partnership for Young Children. We're a nonprofit that provides services for children and families birth to age 5. So we do all kinds of things to support families who have needs. We have a diaper pantry. We provide diapers and wipes to families that don't have access to diapers and wipes on a regular basis. We provide books. There's a lot of book deserts in Iredell County, children who don't have access to books. And so we really do everything we can to help prepare those children for kindergarten, make sure they're healthy, safe, and ready to learn. I think we have a very small window of opportunity to build a strong foundation. And that's what this job allows us to do, to build that strong foundation. Like one of my favorite quotes is, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men," by Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build strong children and strong families.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So you did that in Harnett County as well.
I did, yes. So that was my first job after I graduated from NC State, and I fell in love with the work and ended up pursuing my master's in nonprofit administration. And I worked for the Harnett County Partnership on both occasions that we were stationed at Fort Bragg, and again just fell in love with that work and had an opportunity to come back to it here in Iredell County in 2018.
So what drove you there? What took you down that path?
luck. I mean, really, I was planning on going to Chapel Hill for graduate school, and we were young and broke, and we couldn't afford it. So I'm like, I'm going to work for a little while, and I seriously just happened to find a job, and I started as the administrative assistant at the Harnett County Partnership, and loved it, and ended up moving into a program position shortly thereafter, and then I served as the interim director, then the director on 2 different occasions, and just really changed my perspective and helped me identify what I wanted to do in life. And I didn't have necessarily the best upbringing, and so I actually enrolled in one of our programs that was called Parents as Teachers. And so we had a parent educator that came to our home and helped me and Toby kind of understand what to expect during our son's development, and really changed kind of my trajectory. And I decided this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There are a lot of unsung heroes out there.
Yeah.
And the obvious ones, police, fire, rescue,
Yep.
first responders, right? Teachers. But then you hear about people in positions like this, which I didn't know anything about the Partnership for Young Children, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't know. But every time I'm always humbled, and I don't want to say I'm humbled. It's a humbling experience to learn that there are people out there that are taking on those tasks that are seemingly monumental to me. I wouldn't know where to get started with anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, right? So don't have the organic experience,
You've got,
as we'll say.
you got
So
critters, though.
I have a Cletus.
You have Cletus.
I have a
Okay.
Cletus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-legged friend.
Yeah. No. That's Mandy.
Oh,
My wife is Cletus,
Yeah,
by the
okay.
way.
I thought she was Mandy Timberlake.
Well, she is Mandy Timberlake.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Right. Awesome.
but it's a fantastic thing, and kudos to you
Yeah.
and everybody else that undertakes jobs like that and tries to build that. As you said, it's a foundational thing.
So do you think your experience as a spouse of a service member has informed you to where what you're doing now makes you better at
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
How's that? How so?
I learned to be an advocate. I mean, for my children, for my husband, for us as a family. So it really helped me find my voice and then use that voice to help others. Yeah.
So day to day, advocacy is what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Building awareness.
and educating people like, hey, you need to do this,
Right.
or you need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to hear this. You need to understand this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So who does your organization partner with? Because obviously
Yeah.
that's got to be a collaborative effort.
Absolutely. We're very fortunate to be a part of the Smart Start Network, which is a statewide network that provides early education services for children birth to age 5. We also serve as the NC Pre-K administrator, so we provide free preschool for at-risk 4-year-olds throughout Iredell County. We also serve as a child care resource and referral network for families who are looking for child care or other resources. And then we partner with just about every other nonprofit in Iredell County. We're always referring back and forth. If a family reaches out to us about a service that we can't help them with, we're going to make that direct handoff and connect them to somebody who can help them.
What is your? I heard the term at risk.
Yeah.
What's the criteria? How do you figure out if somebody's at risk?
Yeah, so primarily it's based on income, family income, but there's other factors that they take into consideration. One being if they're a child of a military member, that's considered a risk factor.
Yeah.
Also looking at if the child has a developmental need, that would be considered a risk factor. So there's other homeless. We have sad as it is, we have homeless children in Iredell County, and that automatically qualifies them for this program.
How do people find out more about that?
So they can go to iredellsmartstart.org to learn more about us. We also are very active on social media. So
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram.
All right. You heard it. You heard it here. You can get on the Facebooks and Instagrams and find out all about this. And I guarantee you there's somebody listening or that may have a need or knows someone that has a need that they might reach out to you guys. And so is it a 501c3?
We are, yes. We're
Okay.
a 501c3
All right. So you have to do
nonprofit.
all the fundraising?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
wow. I feel
Can I plug one?
You can.
You can.
Please.
Awesome.
Plug it.
So we're doing one right now. It's super fun. It's called Take a Chance for Children. And so we're selling $5 raffle tickets, and you'll be entered into a chance to win. Right now we have over 140 scratch-off lotto tickets. So
Very
someone
nice.
could literally hit the lottery.
Oh,
by-
wow.
Yeah, by supporting the
That's
young ones in
awesome.
our community. Yeah.
So how do people get the tickets?
So they can go to our website, and you'll get a pop-up that asks
All
if
right.
you want to participate to buy tickets for the raffle.
All right. Let's hear that website one more time.
IredellSmartStart.org.
IredellSmartStart.org.
ArnoldSmartStart.
All right. I can hear the computer keyboards clacking away. People are going on there right now to find out more about
Yeah,
what
some
they
people
do.
win
That's
big.
fantastic.
Yeah, and
So,
those donations help provide diapers for children in the community.
yeah, that's awesome.
You,
Yeah,
That's amazing.
you heard it, people. There's nothing more important than our children.
it's true.
Go support.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. Well, we are just super glad you were able to be here this week, and
Thank you.
want to take the final minute or so of the show today to talk about our buddy Dale Beatty. And so, for those that don't know, Dale Beatty and John Gallina founded Purple Heart Homes in 2008, really. But that was a result. The reason this whole organization exists is because Dale and John drove over a IED in Iraq in November of 2004, and Dale lost both of his legs and had to relearn how to walk. And anyhow, he when he got back home, he found out his house, just wasn't suitable for a wheelchair and moving around, and so.
And he and Melinda had 2 young children at the time as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, Sophia wasn't even here yet, right?
Yes.
And so, the boys were very little, and and John, saw his buddy in need, and our community really came together and built Dale a house. It's a pretty well-known story. And then out of that, they started asking questions about who's helping the veterans who actually came out and volunteered to build his house, right? These Vietnam era, Korean War era veterans, and it was really moving to them, and so they started this organization that that Paul and I both serve at in Purple Heart Homes. And 6 years ago on February the 10th, I had talked to Dale. Actually, it was on the 9th. He had come by my office, and he was like, "Man, I'm fat." Right? He's like, "Man, let's start working out. I need to work out." And I was like, "Yeah, of course, Dale." And I was like, "Hey, man, we're going to do this. We got a trivia night this weekend for Young Life. We'd love for you and Belinda to come." He's like, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." And then Saturday he called and said, "I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not feeling great." And then, Monday morning, the 12th, it's odd that this year, the 6th anniversary, came up on a Monday. Same thing. And so it was kind of weird this morning, but we all came into work, and John came in and pretty much announced to everybody that Dale had passed away. And he got up. He was going to Nashville and just fell over dead from a pulmonary embolism. And it really just kind of took the wind out of our sails for a long, long time. It was a time of grief and sadness. And but I do know this, that in 2018, we completed 42 projects that year. Right? 42 projects. And at the time, we thought that we had hit the greatest home run ever because we didn't fold after Dale's passing, but we completed 42 projects. Paul, how many projects did we do last year?
206.
206 last year alone, right? We probably got 30 done already this year, and so I think it's a testimony to Dale's leadership and John's leadership too that Purple Heart Homes survived a massive blow. I mean, it was like hitting an iceberg on the Titanic. I mean, it could have taken the whole ship down. And
It's a testament to the organization and the mission.
yeah, I agree.
Right, the
I agree.
mission is solid.
Mission is solid. Yeah, and so I was thinking about that today down at Richards, just looking at all these these old veterans that and as it turned out, guy said, "Hey, my buddy needs a ramp on his house," right? And I went by and met this veteran. He does need a ramp, and was able to get some paperwork turned in today. And so just thinking about all that this week and missing Dale. And so we want to just send our warm wishes to Celine and Belinda and the kids.
Dustin, Lucas, and Sophia.
Yep, and all of Dale's family that miss him every day. We just want to let you know that we still are in your corner and still think about you all the time. And we're here if you need us. So. But anyhow, we miss Dale.
We do miss Dale.
Yeah. So, hey, that's the end of the show. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for tuning in to Putting the Pieces Back Together. We'll see you next week.
Listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, brought to you by Purple Heart Homes. Please consider making a donation to this worthwhile cause dedicated to improving the lives of veterans one home at a time by visiting purplehearthomesusa.org. Join us again next Thursday at 3 p.m. for Putting the Pieces Back Together on WSIC News Talk Now.